My favorite hockey game, no matter the date. Can't wait for it. It's New Year's Eve, meaning World Juniors take center stage, and the Canadian men's hockey team roster announcement has happened. Oh, my. We'll talk about that and more today. The Lowdown is brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Hurry in for their Wish and Win event with 0% financing for up to 84 months on most SUVs and trucks and clearance prices on all 2025s. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. I meant com. We are live on YouTube and Sports 1440. We are, of course, online at iHeartRadio and sports1440.ca, Radio Player Canada as well. After the show, Apple and Spotify podcasts. We tweeted out on X. We're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, and at Donovan Paulson. You can text or call anytime at 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Josh Fenwick is off today, seeing his family. Didn't get back to see them on the Christmas period, so he's going to see his family for this weekend, which is kind of cool. We have Kevin McCurdy, who will be our main guest today at 1 o'clock. Declinations as well. We will be talking college football. We're talking it all, lots going on. First, though, it's time for the introductions. If he were a Simpsons character, it would be Otto. He's young, mostly trustworthy, unless he's driving. He loves the rock and roll and having a good time. Signature phrase, Otto is blotto. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Donovan Paulson. Donovan Paulson. Do we have a response?
We do. However, hold on. I'm not used to having to bring the mic over to my face since I'm now taking over Mr. Fenwick's role today.
There you go. And what is your response?
My response, you know what? Maybe a little weak today.
Oh, really? So I was thinking about Bart.
Yeah.
But, then I would be calling your dad Homer, and I didn't think that was a good idea.
No, definitely not.
All right. If he was a Simpsons character, it would be Sideshow Bob, a pure genius, makes grand, elaborate plans, steps on rakes a lot. Signature phrase, Lisa, you don't spend 10 years as a homicidal maniac without learning a few things about dynamite. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger.
I'm thinking it might be possible you don't like me very much.
It's a beautiful intro.
It was really
beautiful
good.
Intro.
Because here's the thing. It was masked a little bit. It was like, hey, you're Sideshow Bob, but by the way.
He does step on rakes a lot.
Yeah, he does. I haven't watched The Simpsons in
he's
second here.
Sideshow Bob is larger than life, and you are larger than life.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll take that.
For Donovan, Otto is a young guy who's very fun and funny. If I was doing the Muppets, he'd be Animal, right? Because he's got all kinds of energy, and there's everybody's sort of
maybe one of those two old guys at the theater.
Sure, but everybody's kind of blindly contrary in The Simpsons. The Donovan character has to be openly contrarian, and I mean, I guess I could go with Smithers. I'm not sure who that person would be on The Simpsons. So I think Otto works, but apparently my learned friend Donovan didn't think so. So let's get to the important stuff. The Olympic team roster has been put out there publicly. People are angry about all kinds of things. I think they did not bad. I've got a few people that I wouldn't have put on. I would like another right-handed defenseman. I think Jordan Binnington is on there based on reputation. I mean, he might play the opening game, but I don't think he's going to be their goalie of record in the important games, the playoff competition. Bo Horvat, maybe a little bit of a surprise. Other than that, I was fine with it. I think Stone, people are talking about him. I don't think that's controversial at all. Wonderful player. Bouchard didn't make it. I felt we all knew that. That shouldn't be a surprise. And Hyman wasn't in the conversation, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And I don't think you can be critical of a Stone. He's a really good player. Donovan, your thoughts on the roster?
I would just say the only surprises for me, I thought Binnington was a big surprise based on the year he's had. The Stones, that's not a story for me. Sorelli's a story. But of course, that's a John Cooper effect. I look at...
There's a lot of that in a roster like this.
Yeah, I like this roster. This is still a championship level roster. It's not like Team Canada 2 would still probably win the chip, but I'm not a Bedard guy in terms of he should have been on this roster. I love the inclusion of Celebrini, but this is a good roster. There's only a couple changes. Sanheim would be off my roster personally. and I'd probably look to go a different direction than Cirelli for my fourth line center. But I don't know, like, this is not a big surprise to me. I like this team. This is kind of what I thought it would look like. And there's a lot of inclusions where I really like them down the lineup, like Tom Wilson, Mark Stone. There's some really good possible depth players for this team.
It's I think they have to go in as the favorite, but we can agree if they lose, it's probably because of the goaltending.
Yeah, I would be right there with you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, what about you, Declan? Any thoughts on the roster? Any thoughts on Team Canada overall?
Yeah, Binnington, I thought it was pretty crazy based on the year he's had. The goalie situation was always going to be the tougher part of the roster. We talked about Travis Sanheim before the show. I wouldn't have had him on personally. Forwards, I would have loved to see Bedard make it. Like, I said this to you guys before the show. I think Celebrini is probably more deserving, but something about Celebrini being there and Bedard not, I don't love it. And listen, he's defensively very irresponsible. He's coming off an injury. Like, there's no argument for him to make it over Celebrini, obviously. And I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying with Celebrini being there, I would have liked to see Bedard there as well. I don't know which forward I would have taken off in that case. Maybe Cirelli. Listen, they're going to be the odds-on favorite going in. This is the one last thing I guess I would say about the roster is, like, there are going to be people who are going to come out of the woodwork and say, Boosh should have been there as a defenseman and Hyman should have been there as a forward. I don't know where you guys come out on that. Like, I probably wouldn't have taken Boosh over any of the defensemen that were there, Sanheim included, because I would have taken Schaefer. And I don't think I would have taken Hyman over any of the forwards that were there.
I would have taken Bouchard. I think Parayko is being overrated in this situation.
I like Parayko a lot.
Well, I don't think he's having a good year, and I think he's playing very loose.
It is the Blues effect,
and sure, and that's going to happen. And I have no quarrel with it. I think Bouchard is the things he does well. He does extremely well, and I value that highly. But the coach is going to take the player that he can trust, and Bouchard does make some major errors, and that's something he's got to work on. Young defenseman, he's still young, he's 25. But I would have taken him, but I'm not surprised, and I'm certainly not surprised about Zach Hyman. I think he's a wonderful player, and if he'd had the Stanley Cup final that I think he should and could have had he not been hurt, I think he would be there.
Al, who's your biggest snub?
Oh boy, that's tough. It would be on probably Chychrun.
Oh, that's exactly where I was going.
Yeah, I would say Chychrun would be. I would say that if I'm Chychrun, I feel like I'm making the team because the idea that all of these guys are going to be healthy for the Olympics is another bit of a stretch.
Like Sanheim over Chychrun? Like with the year that Chychrun's had?
I know. But you know what? Again, it's like it's I remember in 72, I'm old. I remember in 72, Harry Sinden took Don Orey. And Don Orey was like, I love Don Orey as a Bruins fan. But there's a tendency to want to reward the people who've been loyal to you and that have gotten you to where you are that day. And I think that's why Sinden took Ari, and I think that's why a lot of the players who are, when you're making shades of gray decisions, and honestly, I don't think Chychrun is. I think Chychrun should have been on the team. Then these things do happen. There's nothing you can do about it. If you're mad and you're an Oilers fan, I would refer you to like the 1986 or 88 All-Star team where Glenn Sather named pretty much every Oiler. There was like 9 Oilers on the All-Star team. Like they all played, and that's to the victor goes the spoils. And so Cooper's involved, the Blues are involved, they get those breaks. But I don't think anybody should be particularly happy or surprised that Bouchard and Hyman did not make it. I don't know that Elliot Friedman reported that Bouchard was in the conversation late. I didn't see a lot or hear a lot about Hyman. And if Stone is the hill you die on, I'm not going to join you because that's a hell of a hockey player. I would have liked to had one Connor McDavid teammate. We're going to talk to Kevin McCurdy about that at 1:00 today. About getting Bouchard moves the puck to McDavid. That's a chemistry that you don't even have to create. It's there already. It would have been a good idea. Having said that, you move on from this. One thing. Speaking of Kevin McCurdy, I wanted to get to. McCurdy sent out a tweet. I think it was like either late yesterday or early today. about playing Mangiapane with Draisaitl and Podkolzin, and he did some real good work there at the underlying numbers. And we're going to talk to him about that because the Oilers today at the morning skate had McDavid with Nuge and Hyman, but also Podkolzin and Mangiapane with Draisaitl at center. So reading the intel from Kevin McCurdy, we'll find out. We'll give him flowers at 1 o'clock today. Roslovic at center. I don't like him there with Janmark and Savoy. Henrique on fourth line center. I do like him there with Jones and Frederick. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Regula back in the lineup. And Stastny with Emerson. And Ingram is in the starter's net. So, and will mention in Bakersfield today, Connor Clattenburg will be returning to action tonight. They have no defenseman in Bakersfield. Expect a high score, and then you'll know why. It isn't the goaltender tonight. It's that they don't have any, defensemen. Got to have a defenseman. Any thoughts on the Oilers changes and Mangiapane moving up? I know both of you love him as a player.
I mean, give him a shot, I guess. I don't know. Like, what are the expectations, really?
Well, I think this is a showcase. I'm sorry. They're trying to trade him and they want him to score a goal. That's it.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? That's so true. And I didn't even consider that. Like, I didn't think about that for a second, but
They need him
100%.
Somebody wants to see him with skill.
That's crazy. Maybe I am actually deep down a Mangiapane guy because I was just like, heck yeah.
Well, you like pizza. You know. There you go.
I mean, how can you showcase a player that hasn't fit in whatsoever? And this to me, I mean, just screams throwing bleep at the wall and hoping it sticks. I don't.
So you don't
it.
buy the showcase idea?
Well,
you believe it. You just don't.
I believe it. I just don't think it's going to have any impact.
Well, and I think that's fair. But if you're the Oilers and somebody calls you up and says, hey man, we're interested in this guy.
You're on the phone. You're like, are you sure?
But you're saying like, okay, well, do you want to see him? Maybe do something with Draisaitl. They're 5 goals for, 6 against at 5-on-5, 56% expected goal share. Certainly better than Mangiapane when he's without Draisaitl, but it's no screaming hell either. They're underwater a little bit in goal share, and Leon alone is just, Leon Draisaitl without Mangiapane is at 61%. With him, he's at 45%. So he's been a drag on everybody, and so quite frankly, is Trent Frederick. Which gets me to the signing July 1st free agents that are famous and the Edmonton Oilers. It's like they act as though nobody will come there on July 1st unless they give them a no movement clause and tack on 2 years to the contract. And that's what I object to. I think, it was when they signed Lucic, it was bad, but it was a one-off because by that time Chiarelli had spent all the money and the engine had blown. And then when Keith Gretzky got here, he didn't have a chance to do anything on July 1st. Holland was slow start, and they got Hyman, and that's a great one, as my learned friend Donovan said yesterday. But then they signed Jack Campbell. It's dangerous waters in free agency. And then when you tack on a no-movement clause in 2 extra years, you're sucking hind teat, as Pat Quinn said seriously and famously many years ago. So I like the Oilers lineup. I like the idea of Mangiapane, but I have to concur with Donovan again. I don't think it's going to make a difference. I hope it does. I'm a Mangiapane guy. I like him as a player. We'll see. All right. Before we get to everything else, there are big stories happening, including bowl games. Can you give us a thumbnail sketch of what we're not here tomorrow. We're off tomorrow. So give us a thumbnail sketch of tonight's and then maybe the next few days here.
Yeah, we'll get into it on Declan CAA at 1:40. Tonight, of course, we have Ohio State and Miami, the first game of the college football playoff. Ohio State thought to be levels above everyone all season, and then they lose to Indiana in the Big Ten championship game. And proves that, now, Indiana's very, very good, but it proves that maybe there is a recipe there. And then we have 3 games tomorrow, all great games. Alabama, Indiana. Who would have thought those teams would have met in the college football playoff? With Indiana as the undefeated 1 seed and Alabama as the 9 seed, maybe kind of undeserved despite them winning the first round game. Like if you told someone that 5 years ago, you would have been fired from your office job. You would have lost your house. The kids probably don't want to see you. You know what I mean? Like it was unimaginable. And now here we are. So yeah, looking forward to the games. We'll talk about it more at 1:40.
I like the venues too, because when you're in cold weather and you see some of these places that we'll see, and it's so gorgeous there, it makes you want to get on a plane. right?
Not me personally. Scared of flying.
Right.
Yeah, new thing.
You and Gretzky.
He was scared of flying.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Rod Phillips was the play-by-play guy, but also the traveling secretary. And they used to sit together because they were both very nervous flyers. And Rod would regale me with stories of 99 and how nerve-wracking, like legitimately nerve-wracking flights were.
Sean Brown was scared of flying as well. He's talked about it pretty openly here on our Gregor show.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a thing. I've never been a great flyer, but one time we dropped, I don't know how many feet over the Gulf of Mexico, and that sort of cured me. I was like, well,
nothing happened.
I mean, might as well pretend I'm cool. Just in case.
It was like a very gradual thing for me.
Yeah. I like to read a book. That gets me going. If I read a book, then I get enthralled in the book. It's got to be a good book, but then I can kind of get going. What about you, Donovan? You ever been on a plane, or is it like going to a concert?
Man, I don't know.
Okay.
Wait, but you've been on a plane.
I've been on a plane. Yeah.
Well, do you like flying or no?
I'm like right in the middle. I know most people are right on you either love it or you hate it. Like, I think it's one of those things, but I find myself somewhere in the middle. I used to hate it. Now I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I understand that it's the necessity to get where you need to go.
Right.
So I just kind of view it as, you know what? I don't hate it. I'm just indifferent.
I'm waiting for Declan to get rich so he'll buy a helicopter and take me places. That's my.
Those are even scarier. Plus, you're not allowed on it.
After all I did for you, I love actually flying. It's landing that I'm always a little nervous about, Team Dean. Takeoff and landing is where all the bad things happen, right?
Yes. And landing is generally, I mean, both takeoff and landing. That's where the most accidents happen. Like once you're in the air, you're very safe.
Yeah, which is sort of like this show. We're up and running now, so we'll be
right.
okay.
It's like the first 2 minutes of getting us on air is fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, a plane is a great metaphor for this show.
All right.
We're always going up.
All right. We've reached cruising altitude. And on the way, we'll have rumors. We have Kevin McCurdy coming up at 1 o'clock and Declan CAA talking a lot of football. Anything else? Any basketball? Anything else? Or is it just going to be strictly football today?
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I forgot today was Wednesday, which means it's the Duncan with Declan segment. I totally just blanked and went to football because...
Yeah. Well, I think we have to talk
college
about
football playoff, of course. Yeah.
We'll do some basketball next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Everyone's a winner during Wish and Win at Wolf GMC Buick. But hurry, it ends January 2nd. Every single customer is guaranteed at least a $500 bonus with a chance to save up to $25,000 towards a new GMC or Buick. At Wolf GMC Buick, we also have 0% financing up to 84 months on most of our popular SUVs and trucks. And we're clearing out remaining 25s, including cash discounts up to $10,000 on a great selection of Sierra HDs. But hurry in now. It ends January 2nd. Wolf GMC Buick, where everyone wins.
The Hockey Super League is proud to launch its 9th season, delivering independent, borderless hockey. This year, over 125 teams will compete across Alberta, Saskatchewan, and for the first time ever, Colorado, USA, which showcase style action, cross-province rivalries, and a strong commitment to player development. The HSL is the premier destination for families seeking balance and athletes chasing the next level. The Hockey Super League. Hockey without limits. For athletes born in 2013 to 2018, visit hockeysuperleague.com to learn more.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com and call today to get started.
Smart, connected, community-driven. Jason Gregor sets the standard for sports talk in Edmonton. Join the conversation on Sports 1440. Text Gregor. 833-401-1440. Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Say, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca and let's get to work for you.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vinny and Donnan have to offer. Visit vinnyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I'm obviously going to get the McVeggie, medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. It's my favorite meal and it's new. Plus, if I get that, maybe he'll want it too. And then he'll always thank me for introducing him to the McVeggie. I'll be a hero.
So, McVeggie fries and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a McVeggie meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
With the best ABBA song ever, we're brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. And we were talking about Gretzky in the first segment. Rage Texter B says, my dad worked for Air Canada for many years. He went up to the cockpit one flight, and Gretzky was up there because he was so scared of flying. Still have the autograph my dad got me back in the 80s. You know, it's funny because Gretzky was, you know, he was a different hockey player. Nobody ever played the game like Gretzky, honestly. He had a sixth sense about where everybody was going, and he would send the puck to Curry, who was going where they were not. And that was the team. And Gretzky could just find a way to think that many steps ahead, and he found it. And you think, okay, he's Superman. He's impervious. He's invincible. And yet he had great fear of flying. So I guess it tells us that we're all human, and we all have strengths and weaknesses. Later, we'll talk about Declan's. It is time now.
Can we do the strengths now?
There's just too many, Deck. I'm sorry. You know, we'll do the weaknesses. That's shorter list. It's time for Rumors, brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. Okay, we're going to do this one time. We're going to give you the roster for Canada. and then we'll go around the table. Then we'll talk about the roster for the Oilers, and then we'll get into basketball and football and stuff. The forwards, Macklin Celebrini, Anthony Cirelli, Sidney Crosby, is a good up-and-coming player, Brandon Hagel, Bo Horvat, Nathan McKinnon, Brad Marchand, Mitch Marner, Connor McDavid, Braden Point, Sam Reinhart, Mark Stone, Nick Suzuki, and Tom Wilson. I don't really have a quarrel with anybody. I sure don't have a quarrel with Mark Stone. And if anybody says a word about Nick Suzuki, I'm going to lose it, man. Maybe Marchand. I love Marchand, but he's a little long in the tooth. Defenseman, Drew Doughty, Thomas Harley, Cale Makar, Josh Morrissey, Colton Parayko, Travis Sanheim, Shea Theodore, Devin Taves. There are reports that Taves didn't know he was going, and his wife is about to have a baby. And so I can just see now that they would check down to Chychrun. That makes sense to me. Goaltenders, Binnington, Darcy Kemper, Logan Thompson. It's my belief that you won't see Binnington much unless it's the first game. And we'll go from there. We just had this conversation, but any extra thoughts on the roster, ladies and germs? That would be you two.
What was that?
Do you have any thoughts that we didn't discuss in the first segment about the Team Canada roster?
I absolutely do. The one thing I wanted to say that I didn't get to,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised Mark Scheifele didn't make the team, but I thought he had a real good push early on in the season to make it.
That's
It kind
very
of
fair.
corrected himself. It kind of corrected itself, I should say, as the season went on. I don't know who I would have taken him over. I would have liked to see him on the team.
Yeah, and remember, the names we're talking about on the outside, they could be on the inside by the time they get to the Olympics.
Well, I saw a tweet from, I forget who it was from. Ryan Pike of Flames Nation retweeted it, and I think it was saying that Uyghur is being kept as one of the reserve defensemen.
Mm-hmm.
And then the continuation of the tweet was he was disappointed he didn't make it, and I was kind of like, really? Like, you're that surprised? Like,
Well, I mean,
I don't know, man. Like,
I like
it's like
confident players.
Aaron Gordon saying he wants to be an all-star in the NBA. It's like, yeah, hey, man, and I want a Lamborghini Diablo. Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, he must have been in contact and must have had an idea he was under consideration, and so that might be his disappointment. Anything from you, Donovan?
I just think with like guys like Mark Scheifele, Connor Bedard, like those are players that personally I didn't expect to make the team just because they have such defensive deficiencies.
Well, and on Winnipeg, you can do that, right? Like, because you've got that Lowry line.
Like, there's such a difference between being the best player on Team Canada versus your team. Like, if you're the best player on your team, you can have those defensive deficiencies.
Yeah.
But if you're on Team Canada, those defensive deficiencies are going to translate into a lack of trust. They're going to translate into, like, that's why Bouchard's not there. That's why Scheifele's not there. That's why Bedard. Like, you can look to all those players. It's not an all-star game.
Well, here's what I think. I will disagree with you slightly. I agree with everything you said, except that I think the reason is the Team Canada is still under the Mike Babcock idea that you can't trust anyone. And so you just send a bunch of players who defend as opposed. I think if Team Canada went with an all-out blast of offensive fervor, they would win games 6-3. But they're going to try to win games 3-2. And I object to it. Honestly, I do. But I understand that the importance of coaches becomes less when you hire that many pure offensive like zealots. And so that's what they do. They make it defensive. And with the goaltending Canada has, I do understand it a little bit because you need a great goaltender. You need Bernie Perrant or Ken Dryden or Dominic Hasek or Patrick Roy to do that.
But in the same sense, like, how defensive really is it? Like, your worst player is a 70-point guy?
Oh, but on defense, I mean, Harley's not having a good year. Parayko is not playing well. I'll tell you, the Canadian defense is going to be exposed a little bit unless they tighten up like Archie Bell and the Drells, which is a 60s reference.
That's where I have the biggest gripe with this team. I think anybody who has a gripe with what's going on up front, I'm sorry, I'm just not with you. Like, maybe Anthony Cirelli, but that's about it. On the back end, like, I can look to Sanheim and say, yeah, he wouldn't be on my team. I know people are pointing out to Doughty, but to me, that's just a big game player.
I think Doughty stays, right? Because I think you put Doughty on the team because, like, that whole generation of players got screwed out of Olympics. So I put him on that team. No quarrel.
And for me, he's a big game player. He's got multiple Stanley Cups. He's got multiple Olympic gold medals. Like, Doughty is a big game player. He's a great leadership guy for maybe some of your younger guys. I'm not going to agree with Parayko, but I would agree with Harley and Sanheim. I think there was better options out there, particularly Chychrun.
On the right side of the defense, this Canadian team has a problem.
I'm not as worried about
Parayko
as you are. I believe in that guy. I mean, he's on a
Parayko.
terrible team in St. Louis. Like, that team's terrible.
Well, we'll say, I mean, it's done now. They've got their team, and I don't think there's anything worth, shedding blood over.
I got a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Which player, like, listen, obviously any player who got snubbed, like, they hate it, and they're sitting at home thinking, like, man, this sucks. But which player do you think is sitting at home right now being like, really, they left me off? And again, like, I know that's applicable for probably more than a few guys.
I think Chychrun.
Okay.
But that would be my guy. I tell you, what does he have to do is what I would say.
Like, you think he's the one sitting at home right now really thinking, like, wow, Hockey Canada messed this up bad?
Well, I think that I would, if I'm Chychrun, I'm asking, what do I not have? Like, what is it that you saw in several others? Because I'd put him ahead of Sanheim, but I would put him ahead. Harley's not having a good year. But there's a lot of who you know in this, right? Like, if you look at the coach and the management team, and then you go and look at the matching players from those organizations, and it's always been thus. We talked about it with Sinden and Sather. That's just the way it is. And so we move on, and we have our discussions, and we have our disagreements. And remember, Vic Hadfield went home before the Russian games happened. So this is not complete yet. There will be some players who are unavailable. That's just the truth. Now, for the Oilers, their lineup tonight is interesting. McDavid with Nuge and Hyman, Draisaitl with Podkolzin, and Andrew Mangiapane. I think it's a showcase game. We'll see. And one of the things that we'll talk about with Kevin McCurdy, his very interesting tweet thread about playing Mangiapane with Draisaitl. It came out before the decision to put him there, at least in practice today, and one assumes that they'll be playing tonight. Roslovic with Janmark and Savoy, Henrique with Jones and Frederick. That's going to be an interesting line. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Regula back in the lineup. Stastny, Emberson. Stastny looking real good, and Ingram. Any thoughts on that, Mangiapane, or anything else? Are you thrilled with Regula back in the lineup? Stillman doesn't play, so at least this guy will play a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the lineups are whatever. Mangiapane in the top 6 is certainly a choice, but you aptly pointed out, bit of a showcase spot. So I get it. I don't know. I expect a win tonight against Boston. I'm fine with how the lines are configured.
Boston's playing way better than I thought they would. They really
overall.
Are. Oh man,
yeah.
I mean, they got the geeky trend. And
hey, by the way, do you think Morgan Geeky's sitting? You're just gonna say?
I was going to say the same thing.
Hey, I got like 25 goals, man. Like, maybe throw me a bone here.
Yeah,
tied for the most in the calendar year.
Yeah,
and
it was the most for
based
a little
on this.
while.
Yeah, based on this Team Canada club, I don't even know if the managers and the coaches are watching this year, because a lot of guys who are playing well this year aren't on the team, and a lot of guys who are playing poorly are. I think this was a reputation list. 25 goals for Geeky in 40 games.
Ooh.
Is that a little all right?
More than a little all right, man.
In Strathclyde, Manitoba, they're marching in protest right now.
Who would his line mates be? Like, what line mates can get the most out of Morgan Geeky?
Well, he's a big right-handed guy.
And he's played in a depth role before, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
There's no reason for him.
I still think of him as a depth player. Despite having...
I mean, but he can score from anywhere is my point. Like, he just, like, you can... you go and look at the centers he's had or the wingers he's had, depending upon where he's playing. And, I mean, he's been building towards this season, but this is really impressive by Morgan Geeky. And the Bruins, God, do they need him. Like, I know I watched Brendan Carlo's entire career. I know why they got off of him. Got a lot of miles on him. But they have some young defensemen who are, I'm not confident, but the Bruins are good with defensemen. They really are. Going back to Orr and, Dallas Smith and the Smith brothers and all of that. The Smiths weren't related. I don't know. I think it's the toughest thing in the world to name a Team Canada because there's so many talent. Like if you're naming Team Latvia, well, that's not so hard. But Team Canada, you're going to piss off guys who might end up in the Hall of Fame. That's how good they are.
Yeah, like their second team could conceivably compete for a medal.
They could beat the Team A. Like that's not that far fetched. By the way, the biggest story in hockey today isn't the Oilers lineup, isn't the Oilers Bruins game, isn't the Olympic announcement. Austin Matthews is out day to day. Will Toronto survive, or will it fall into the lake?
Well, they won without him and Nylander last night against the Devils. That was funny.
Well, they got more of a team that the coach can, harness, I think, right?
Yeah, they got more of a dump and chase team.
Yeah, and if you're going to dump and chase, you need to have the kinds of players who can go do that kind of thing, and their coach sure as hell was. Anything in football we should be talking about? Anything wild and crazy in the NFL?
Well, something that's a little wild and crazy is following the Falcons' win. If the Falcons beat the Saints again on Sunday, even if the Panthers lose to the Bucs on Sunday, the Panthers will get in as the division winner.
Love it.
Also, crazy stat I heard on Pardon My Take. How about this for you guys? In 2005, there is the election of Pope Benedict. The Seahawks win 13 games and make the Super Bowl. In 2013, there's the election of Pope Francis. The Seahawks win 13 games and make the Super Bowl. This year, there was the election of Pope Leo. The Seahawks have 13 wins. So, advanced analytics for you. Is this the Seahawks year to make the Super Bowl?
I just want to jump in and say that's not actually advanced analytics.
Yeah, no.
That's
sabermetrics.
It's more like
you got to admit, though, that's
Vatican City analytics.
Crazy stat.
Crazy stat.
Here's my favorite story of the entire Christmas season. Jerry Jones anticipates direct negotiations with Cowboys wideout George Pickens. I like it. I think he's the man to do it. He's shown in the past with strong and impressive negotiations. Hello, Parsons. That Jerry Jones is the guy to go directly to the player. Eliminate the middleman. What could go wrong?
I've wondered what they're going to do with George Pickens.
I wonder what they're going to do with Jerry Jones.
I think they're keeping him 100%.
He's really good.
And I think you're going to see the Cincinnati Bengals 2.0, where you pay 2 wide receivers a boatload of money, and then you have your, of course, franchise quarterback, and then you have some other guys sprinkled here and there of money, and then you have just this piss poor rest of mediocrity. And you get stuck in the mushy middle.
Yeah. It's, there's more than one way to win a championship, but this isn't one of the ways.
No.
And I'm delighted. I just am. I can't help it. I'm smiling wide. I just am. And I know it's not the Eagles here. I don't think it's the Bills here, though, boys. I hate to say it, but they can't stop the run and they can't protect their quarterback. Those are things that are important.
I'll say this as a Bills fan, obviously. Any team getting to the Super Bowl would not surprise me, with the exception of Panthers-Bucks division winner and Steelers-Ravens division winner.
I'd agree.
So what about the Patriots? You're okay with they make the Super Bowl?
I am, yeah.
Right.
They wouldn't be my pick, but I'm definitely okay with it.
Yeah, I think
I'd be less surprised than those teams.
I think that
they're good.
I think they will make a Super Bowl. I don't think it's this one, though.
Yeah, give them 3 years.
Yeah. Perplexed Oilers fan, you watch. Matthews is going to want to play in Vegas, and Vegas will make it happen. Toronto will crumble like beside itself. Don Mills will emerge as the largest community in Toronto if that happens. They can't let that happen. My God. Matt S says it's the Patriots here. We'll see. All right, we take a break. 12:40 on the way. More chat, more of your comments, and I'd really like to delve into these bowl games and see what's shaking with Declan, and we'll do that next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG
Connor McDavid will dust it off. A pirouette. A shot. Anything big or small, and this is Seals with a check down. Scoots down the sideline. Stays it back. Just out the game. Touchdown. No, the game is not over. 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 TCU is not. The game is not over. But you can hear in the background the referee saying they have to go to replay. They have to make sure that Payne stayed in. The touchdown is good. The game is over. And now they say the touchdown is good. And TCU can officially celebrate. Inches between his feet and the sideline. What contact balance by Jeremy Payne. Situation like this, giving Max the options. You're setting the ball screen with Joel, but let your all-star make a play right here.
Ball's in his hands. 15 seconds left. Memphis with a foul to give. 10 seconds left. Will they give it? 6 seconds left. Maxey, Edgecombe, puts it up. Splash! Oh, VJ Edgecombe. This rookie is ready for the bright lights. Timeout with.
Break from the holiday hustle and bustle. Cheer on your favorite team and ask about the daily game night food and drink features. Plus, there's tons of TVs and Oilers watch parties this December season long. Sally's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Check it out.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
Got a house full of guests this holiday season? Who wants to launch this thing? There's a shiny nickel in it for you.
Yikes. Sounds like you need to get out of the house and into Metal Supermarkets. A little downtime's the perfect time to ponder your next project. And they're here to help you choose the right metal, cut to your exact measurements fast. Metal bending, too, often by the next day.
It just keeps growing.
Ew. Again, escape to Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for... Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
44. Happy New Year. We're less than 12 hours away. What do you do for New Year's Eve? You guys are two young people out making the scene. Do you have a good time or do you play it quiet?
This year, for me personally, we'll be going to Lingnan for some Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
Then we will be going back to watch the Stranger Things finale.
Mm-hmm.
Time permitting, we will watch the ball drop. Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve.
Right.
So it's very good. But also today is my little brother's birthday.
Oh, hey.
He turns 7 today. Happy birthday, Arlo. Love you, buddy.
Arlo, just be kind when you're the prime minister or president of North America.
Dropped his presents off this morning. It was awesome.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, happy birthday, buddy.
By the way, may I just say Arlo is such a terrific name.
After Arlo Guthrie.
Well, your parents are stylistics. They really are.
Yeah, well, it's all our names are pretty musically inclined.
What's your sister's name?
Astrid.
Oh.
And that was who, I don't think, it might have been Stuart Sutcliffe, but it was who one of the early, the fifth member of the Beatles left the band for a photographer named Astrid.
Oh, very interesting. I would have thought the Stan Getz and Astrid Gilberto song, Girl from Ipanema, which is a fantastic song, and she's just lovely.
It all works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you for New Year's? Are you grinding it out in the ditches, or what are you doing?
Well, I'm grinding it out in this studio.
Oh, we can do post game.
We've got pre and post game coverage again tonight. Myself and Walks will be back at it again.
Is he feeling better?
I believe he's feeling a little bit better.
Good.
I know he's one thing he did do was he tweaked his back apparently at some shinny. So I hope he's feeling a little better with his couple days more on the couch doing the show instead of in the studio. But yeah, no, it's going to be a fun one once again tonight. I'm hoping people are going to be listening, although it is New Year's. So
no, but I mean, it's nice. You're driving somewhere or coming home, or tell the cab driver to turn it to the radio station.
I'm not just saying this because it's a part of, our station, obviously, but there is nothing like after a game getting the immediacy of a post-game show.
Oh, I agree too. And Walker does a great job, as does Young Donovan. It's a really good show. I think they have great guests too whenever I'm on. So there's that. Okay. This came in during the Chatterova or during the commercial. Ronnie, this question is for Ty. Did Paul Coffey have a similar reputation defensively as Bouchard? I struggle when people hate on him, especially as he shows well in the playoffs and as well as the last 20 games. He's an elite D-man overall, solid defensively at his best and prone to boneheaded mistakes, yes, but overall, the good far outweighs the bad. Well, I agree with you, Ronnie. And Paul Coffey did have a lot of detractors. There's two things about Paul Coffey when he was an Oiler you have to remember. One is that he was the most exciting player on the team. And by that, I mean, his rushes up the ice were just beyond splendid. He was such a beautiful skater. You could just be in awe of his skating. That's how good he was. And he could recover quickly. He was not a good defenseman in terms of coverage or any of those things, but he had Charlie Huddy alongside. Charlie Huddy was the perfect partner for Paul Coffey, and so it worked out well. Now, along with all of those things, Coffey and Glenn Sather had a kind of a difficult relationship in terms of communication, and it came out a lot of different ways. And then Coffey and Peter Pocklington had a lot of disagreements in terms of money paid and spent. And I'm not going to get into it here. But those young players, when they were here, there was a lot of public anger from owners and coaches that spilled over. Peter Pocklington, came very close to calling Coffey a coward, and he was the owner of the team. And Sather would often, drop items in with either Matty or Terry Jones, and you'd know what the contract difficulties were with Coffey. So Coffey's period of time here was difficult with management and coaching, but also with the fans. There was a lot of boos because once you said in the paper that he was, going to hold out or whatever, this was in an era where a lot of players didn't show up until their contract was signed, Messier being an example of that. So Coffey was a chaos defenseman, but he was absolutely at the top of that list. And he was different than Bouchard in that he could transport the puck at a level which was just blindingly brilliant. It just was. So Bouchard is more of a thinking man's passer. Coffey would skate it up the ice, going over the line, shoot the puck, and score a goal. He could do it all. Many times, many times, when John Short was hosting a show on this radio station, it's not this radio station, but on CFRN, people would call in and say, why can't he play center? He should play up front. Why can't he play the wing? That's how good a skater he was. So they weren't similar in style, but they were both prone to heavy criticism because defensively they were more creative. Their defensive brilliance often came from keeping the puck 200 feet from their own net with the puck and not so much in coverage. Defending is very difficult, and neither of them were inclined to do it because they were so skilled at the rest of the game. I hope after the Olympic break and the trade deadline, the Oilers coach figures out his bottom six. Hendo is your third line center. Motivate him, and he needs to get going. Well, I wrote about this the other day at The Athletic, and I think that the solution I would suggest is to break up the top two lines. And I know nobody wants to do that, and I understand why. But if we're just laser focused on fixing the third line and nothing else in a vacuum, then I would put Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at center, Vasily Podkolzin at left wing, and then I'd run a right winger. It could be Kapanen, could be Savoy, don't know. But then I would cobble together a Draisaitl line that would obviously have a different left winger, and then you might have Roslovic there. Or you might put Roslovic on left wing with Hyman and McDavid on the top line. So I'm saying I would do that. The problem with doing it is that the third line and the fourth line, quite frankly, just don't play that much. You know, we've had coaches here for years who would just scrap the fourth line for parts. And I don't think we're far from that some nights with Coach Knobloch now. I'm not saying it's an easy thing, but I think they've figured out the goaltending a little bit. I think they figured out the defense mostly when Wallman gets back. The top two lines are roaring, man. And now you're looking at the third and fourth line. And tonight, I mean, they're trying. They have Mangiapane on the second line. I don't like the third line at all. Roslovic at center, I don't like. Janmark at left wing and Savoy. I mean, I just don't like it. Henrique with Jones and Frederick is fine, but they're not going to play very much. I think you need to move Nuge down. And I know you're mad at me for saying it, but that's how I feel.
Absolutely right with you. I'm not a Roslovic at center guy.
No, it's just wrong.
It's just wrong. He's not
a good scorer. Keep him on the wing.
He's not a great face-off guy. He is, I mean, he's shown time and time again in his career that he's not a centerman. He is a really good scoring winger who complements the top guys really, really well. And he's been great alongside Draisaitl or McDavid, whoever you've put him beside, he's been fantastic. And now you put him on the third line where he is a complementary offensive player and the compliments, and he has to create it himself. The only compliments that he's going to be getting is, maybe they could find a goal once every 3 games, maybe, but Roslovic doesn't create himself. He relies on others to create for him. And Hopkins is a better creator.
Yeah, I love young players and I love Savoy, but Roslovic is if you have a skill line right wing job opening, then you give it to Roslovic right now, I think, over Savoy. I like Savoy.
Absolutely. And to me, Roslovic and Savoy together is just not a good idea.
Yeah.
It is.
Sask Oilers fan, postgame ritual has become walk dogs and listen to the postgame show on Bluetooth speaker. Loyal listener from Saskatchewan, love the station. There you go. Sather's wife got along with Coffee and Sather. People may have forgotten about Ann Sather and Glenn Sather and the good works that they did in this town, but I never will. They did a lot of charity work and fundraising and work to make this community safer in a lot of different ways and better in a lot of different ways. So, say what you want about Glenn Sather. We shall not say a discouraging word about Ann Sather on the station while I'm hanging out. LT, our reasoning for Bouchard being like Coffee defensively is probably why Coffee never benched Bouchard for his gaffes. Cheers, Ken. The very good point you make. But if you read the Bowman book, like Coffee drove Scotty Bowman to distraction. He really just was not a fan. But Coffee, what he did well was really good. But coaches tended to fade him. And I will give Chris Knobloch plenty of credit. I don't think he's faded Bouchard very much. I mean, there's been a couple of, tightening of the reins a little bit. But, and I'm not blind to the frustration of the gaffes and the mistakes, but I do think you live with him because he's so talented in other areas. You could put a pylon at center on the third and fourth lines. Doesn't matter. They don't play much anyway. Yeah, I think that really at the heart of it is the problem. You have 2 lines that are going to play. If it's a 5-on-5 game, like if it's 60 minutes of 5-on-5, you're going to get probably 40 minutes from the top 2 lines and then 11 and 9 or whatever. It's not going to be a lot. All right, 12:55. We're going to talk to Kevin McCurdy next about Team Canada, about the Oilers, and about Mangiapane on right wing on the Draisaitl line. Kevin did some tweets looking at that analytically. We're going to drill down on that, ask him some questions. It's all straight ahead. We'll also have declinations. It'll be Declan CAA today. We talk about the bowl games and the national championship. It's all ahead. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom, 11577 149th Street, open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 to 2. And you can, of course, also visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring your next flooring project to life. Edmonton Oilers in action tonight, 7:30 puck drop versus the Bruins. Pregame coverage going to get going here at 6 o'clock with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. Andrew Mangiapane in the top six, and it will be my goodness, it will be Connor Ingram in the starters net. Old habits die hard. Other games in the NHL today. The Rangers and Caps currently playing. Caps lead that one 3-2 in the third period. In just a few minutes' time here, we will get the Preds and Golden Knights. Then at 2, it's the Lightning and Ducks. The late games tonight in the NHL, we'll see the Blues and Avs and the Flyers and the Flames. World Junior Hockey Championship scores. Switzerland currently up 3-0 on Slovakia in the third period. In about half an hour, we'll get Latvia and Czechia. At 4 o'clock, Sweden and the U.S. And 6:30, we will see Finland and Canada in Group B action. College football bowl season scores in those ones. Iowa currently leading Vandy 31-24 with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Arizona State and Duke both tied at 14. Michigan and Texas will get going in 3 minutes time here. Nebraska, Utah at 1:30. And the college football playoff at 5:30. We'll see Miami and Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl out in Texas. The Olympic roster for Team Canada has been announced. Connor McDavid, the lone Oiler, to make the team. And other news around the sporting world, as Maple Leafs goaltender Anthony Stolarz has skated for the first time since his injury. Tanev with a groin injury is going to miss, quote, significant time. And Canadian sprint star Andre DeGrasse has been honored with the Order of Canada. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440 Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Mr. Rooter decorates a gingerbread house.
Wow. What did you do here, Mr. Rooter?
Well, we've got a Jube Jube toilet, complete with an icing-based wax seal. The main water line is licorice, red for hot, black for cold. You got your standard marshmallow hot water tank and a candy cane sewer line. And on the outside, candy corn hose pips. Disgusting, but they get the job done.
To have your Yule clogs fixed, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Ho, ho, hold up. Are you pulling my beard? Booster Juice has 2 new booster balls for the holidays this year.
That's right, Santa. The Eggnog Booster Ball and Caramel Pecan Pie Booster Ball are 2 new flavors to put some extra jingle in your step. So are you a pie guy, Santa, or a nog guy?
Both!
Good call. That's extra jolly. Happy holidays from your friends at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and sadly some people think orthotics are just glorified shoe cushions. But I've seen a runner drop 8 minutes off her marathon, a grandmother ditch her painkillers, and a 12-year-old nail her long jump, all thanks to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and, if indicated, custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me? No way, I swear.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business, get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email, gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's 1440. Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. Hurry in for their Wish and Win event. Everyone's a winner with a chance to save up to $25,000 towards a new GMC or Buick. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. It's a couple minutes after 1 o'clock. We have Declan CAA talking bowl games on the way. And, of course, we'll have your comments as the hour rolls along. Joined now by our friend Kevin McCurdy to talk about several different things. Kevin, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Alan. How are you doing this week?
Good. Happy New Year. You got everything you wanted for Christmas?
Yeah, everything's great. I mean, as good as could be expected in a complicated year.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get to the Oilers in a second, but I'd like your first blush reaction to the Canadian Olympic squad, which was announced earlier.
I understand why they made the decisions they made. I still think it's I think it's a little bit short-sighted. I would have liked them to have added one of Hyman or Bouchard, just for nothing else than McDavid chemistry. One of the things that they struggled with during the Four Nations tournament was finding line mates or amplifiers for McDavid, and I think having one of them on the team would have made that a bit easier. It sounded like Hyman had wedged his way into the conversation, at least based on what Elliot Friedman was saying. But that did not come to pass. And, looking at Bouchard and McDavid analytically, McDavid without Bouchard's, 47% expected goals and with is like 59% this season. So it's a considerable force multiplier to have him out there. And you can make the argument that there's Cale Makar on that team. And having a line of Nathan McKinnon with Cale Makar and Connor McDavid with Evan Bouchard does not make it a worse team, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I think that, there's enough weakness on the right side of the Canadian defense.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't have a spare. Like, it's 5 lefties and 3 righties, and one of the righties is, I don't know, I'm not crazy about it, but the die has been cast. We're going to ride it off into the sunset and see if they can pull a gold medal with it. Maybe I'll look like an idiot, but
you could choose 3 Canadian teams, and the third one might win the gold, right? Like, there's and that's part of why these arguments are so passionate. Is that it is unfair. There are players who deserve to be on that team that didn't make it.
Yeah, and I think Zach Hyman is, that's the kind of work ethic that you want on your team, right? That is a man that never quits. It's an infectious work ethic that infects the entire team. We saw the difference of what the Edmonton Oilers were without Zach Hyman and with Zach Hyman. So why wouldn't you want to bring that into your locker room? Sure, he's not a pure goal scorer by himself, but he's a playmaker. And you can't tell me that he doesn't hit. Like, he was leading the league in hits in the playoffs last year up until his injury. So I don't really understand the decision making there, but I also I get why they sort of ran it back with a lot of what they already had.
Let's move on with Kevin McCurdy, our guest on the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Let's move on and talk about the Edmonton Oilers. Now, before we saw the lineups today, You did a X thread that talked about the wisdom in possibly moving Mangiapane up to the Draisaitl line. Now, the observation that this is a showcase aside, tell us a little bit about what you saw and why this may be a better idea than anti-Mangiapane folks believe at first blush.
I just saw that like I sort of poo-pooed on Giappani, saying that he was an analytical boat anchor and him complaining about not being given enough opportunity. Um, you know, in the spite of spending a bunch of time on McDavid's wing, was a little bit counterintuitive on his part. But I looked a little bit deeper into the numbers, and the numbers supported that he has good analytics with Podkolzin, and he has good analytics with Draisaitl. And now, granted, that combined sample is only 50 minutes, but in those 50 minutes, they dominated shots for, they dominated expected goals for, and they dominated actual goals for. Now, those sample sizes again are small, but when you're outscoring your opponents 2-1, and when you're theoretically outscoring your opponents 2-1, I don't know why you wouldn't try to make something work. You know, you've got a guy that's struggling, that's making $3.6 million a year, who is your, arguably marquee signing of the summer anyways. We'll call Roslovic a fall pickup. I don't know why you wouldn't want to try and make that work, if for no other reason than to increase Andrew Mangiapane's trade value. But if you can make it work and he can see himself having a fit here, I don't know why you wouldn't ride that into the sunset a little bit, and then also be able to build a proper third line. The advantage of doing this way is you can put Roslovic and Savoy on the third line and find them a center, or Savoy can center the third line, and you can surround him with complementary players and actually end up with a real third line and not two fourth lines like the Oilers tend to ice.
Yeah, one of the things that I think that Oilers fans and observers are going to have to deal with is that if they get a good third line, and I think that's the goal, then the fourth line really does get scrapped for parts. Like, they may play 6 minutes a game and there'll be frustration there, but that's sort of when you're playing the top two lines as often as this coaching staff does, and I'm not being critical, after timeouts and such, they're going to get the play. Then you have a strong third line. You're probably not going to see the fourth line much.
Deliver strong results and you'll get more ice time. It's really, I don't feel like it's that complicated a thing. If Trent Frederick can play at a third line level, if Henrique can up his game and find some of his old self and play at a third line level, then those guys are going to get more ice time. But that hasn't been happening. Henrique hasn't scored in 28 games now. Frederick's really struggled this season, no doubt there. And there's argument that his injuries are still lingering, and whether that's an injury to his ankle or an injury to his ego, I'm not sure which. But if you want ice time, you have to deliver results, and the results have not been delivered from those guys, so they're getting filtered down the lineup.
Yeah, and I think that the fourth line getting 7 minutes will be commonplace in the second half. And if the fourth line plays well enough to become the third line, then giddy up. That's music.
Exactly.
Yeah. Connor Clattenburg has been activated and sent down to Bakersfield, and he's a player that, I studied the math of the minors and junior hockey, and he's a player that really didn't show up. He was a depth pick, and I didn't expect him to have the hands that he's had in preseason and even in the AHL and NHL. He's been a better player with the puck than I thought he was going to be. But he also brought a lot of energy that maybe we would be expecting from a Trent Frederick or some of the veterans on this team. He's back in Bakersfield now. He will play tonight. Do you anticipate a possible recall for Connor Clattenburg in the second half?
Honestly, yes. I think Bob Stauffer kind of alluded to it when he said that it wouldn't be surprised to see him back up here in the future. I expect him to be back up here in the future, and I expect that getting him started in Bakersfield and getting him back up to speed, because they can send him through without waivers, makes perfect sense. They have a full lineup right now. They've had to make some tough decisions. They lost Noah Felp on waivers this week. I don't think they want to lose anybody else. So sending a guy who's waiver resistant down so that he can get his feet under him again seems like a good bet to me. But based on what I saw out of his play, yeah, there are some, definitely some teething issues with him being a young bottom six player, but he has a long and bright future in the Oilers' bottom six if he chooses to continue down the path that he's on.
Kevin McCurdy, our guest on Sports 1440 in the Lowdown with Lowetide. You mentioned Noah Philp, and I'll throw in David Tomasic as well. Two right-handed guys who could play center, and I always wince when you lose a player on waivers who's right-handed center or defenseman because they are
6'4".
Yeah. So when you see that happen, when I saw both, occur, my thought was, hey, there's a right-handed center coming in. And we don't know yet. Apparently, Mangiapane's being showcased. I think probably that's a good bet tonight. And apparently there is word from Elliot Friedman that he's open to a trade if he goes to a team where he can play more. So are you thinking, reading the tea leaves about maybe a right-handed center coming in? And what do you think about losing Philp and Tomasic?
Oh, well, I think Tomasic, he wasn't given a lot of opportunity, but he was given enough opportunity, and he had trouble keeping up with the game at the NHL level a little bit. I think he made a fairly noble try given his limited exposure, and he had some success. He did score some goals, put some assists on the board. But I'm not surprised that this is what the outcome was. I'm also not particularly surprised that no other teams were particularly interested in picking him up. So all the best to David Tomasic. I wish it would have worked out. That one doesn't, to me, sting as much as Noah Philp. And some people will disagree with me on the future of Noah Philp, but I've seen a little bit of what he could do in Bakersfield. And what really surprised me about Philp is just how little he used his body size to his advantage, which was something that he did more in the minors. If he was effective at leveraging his large frame, he would be a successful third-line center in the NHL, and I think he may still find that groove, and the Oilers may be disappointed in the future. But decisions had to be made. I don't disagree that necessarily that Mangiapane is potentially being showcased or given a different opportunity with Draisaitl. You have to look at guys like Nick Roy out of Toronto as guys that, they may be after. There's a couple other names out there too. I definitely think that that's a weakness of this team. And unless they want to spend Ryan Nugent-Hopkins as your third line center, which I don't believe they want to do, then they have to find somebody to fill that role reliably, because the bottom six, frankly, up until this point has been a bit of a graveyard, and something needs to change there. The mix needs to change and be updated to make it competitive, I guess.
Which waiver loss would be more impactful here in the second half, in your opinion, Philp or Troy Stecher?
Well, I think that's a complicated answer, because Troy Stecher is entered an environment in Toronto where their defensive core was in real trouble, both injury and performance-wise. And he's playing, last I checked, 24 plus minutes a night in Toronto. He was never going to get that opportunity here, even with Wallman out. The most he was going to play was playing on Nurse's, on Nurse's wing, I guess, as your second pairing. And it hurts. And given some of Alec Regula's recent struggles, which I think might be sickness or injury related more than player related, that it definitely stings more to lose that depth. But I think in the long run, Noah Philp is probably going to be the bigger loss. I could be deeply misunderstanding that player, but I liked a lot of what I saw out of Noah Philp, and I think there's a ton of potential there. That if he chooses to realize it, he's going to have, even though he's a late bloomer, a fairly lengthy career in the NHL.
So, final question for you, Kevin McCurdy, and it pertains to the roster. I feel as though the goaltending is looking up, and it's a small sample, so there's real danger there. But I don't know how they're going to turn 3 into 2, or if they will. And when Wallman comes back, I think this defense with, Stastny is going to be substantial and maybe the kind of defense we thought they were going to play at the beginning of the year and struggled early.
Yeah, I'm liking for the most part how the roster's shaping up. I need to see more out of the vets in the bottom six. I think Wallman definitely helps plug a hole if he can get comfortable on the right side, and more importantly, that he can stay healthy. Statsny is a low key get, man. That is a real solid move by Bowman. It sounds like Bowman knew him, and it sounds like there was somebody in player scouting that had some experience with him. And I've been really impressed with what I've seen out of him. I also think that Alec Regula can contribute if he can continue to work on his foot speed and decision making when it comes to transition play and not getting himself into too much trouble, not recognizing danger situations when they crop up. And to your point, I think goaltending is going to be competitive with the three goaltenders. I think that's a good thing. Like that to me, goaltending has been a weakness, and having three guys gunning for two positions is a healthy outcome for this team.
Well, they certainly have competition. Final one. Given your druthers, right defenseman, right-handed center, Alex Tuck, do you take Tuck and get the guy who's going to play in the top six, or do you try to flesh it out and do the center situation internally? Which would you like?
If they could get Alex Tuck and it didn't cost them something significant, then I would maybe consider doing it. You can never have enough forwards, it seems like, with this team. And there's no guarantees that Tuck is going to work out either, right? Like, we've seen guys that are strong in other teams and they've struggled when they've come here. So betting the farm on one player is not necessarily the best strategy, but I also think that having another top six forward, especially with not knowing what Roslovic's long-term future are not necessarily a bad thing. If they can sign Roslovic to a renewal and he wants to renew here and it doesn't cost them, $6 million a year, I think that's a move that you look at making. But securing another forward from another team that's got a little bit of term left, or that you can have some term left, I think that's not necessarily the wrong move.
Thanks for this. Happy New Year, Kevin.
Happy New Year to you, Alan. Have a good week, everyone.
There you go. Kevin McCurdy at 1:17. We talked at length about Team Canada and drilled down pretty deeply on the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers are playing Boston tonight. And, of course, Jason Gregor's show coming up at 2 o'clock. We'll preview that. What time does the pregame show come on?
6.
And then the postgame is right after the game until 2 a.m.
Thankfully, no.
Kevin, how are you today?
But it'll probably be around 11 or so.
So long day for you today.
Yep.
You going to go out on the sofa and have a snooze?
Nope. I will be staying here for the Gregor show.
Right.
And then I will be down at first round for the game, of course. And then after that, it's going to be an energy drink fueled day. I'll tell you that for free.
Well, hang in there.
Coffee guy?
I hate coffee.
Not a coffee. Okay.
I just can't do it. I've tried it so many times.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've never had an energy drink. Not ever.
Unlike coffee, they taste really good.
No. I've also never watched any reality television.
I love the taste of coffee. I know we've moved on to reality TV, but I love the taste of coffee.
Oh, it's so good.
It's the best.
I like coffee so much, I'll have a decaf. I'll have a decaf later in the day and enjoy it.
I drink like a pot of decaf a night when I'm just at home chilling.
See,
I love
you
the
are
taste
so
of coffee.
wise, even though you didn't like my, introduction today.
No, it was
which
good.
Spot on, All right.
Gregor's also not a coffee guy, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's good. Not a coffee guy. But, do you want to be on an island with Gregor in terms of, taste?
I don't know.
Wow, that's a good answer. All right. We'll take a break. Your comments next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, experts with a passion for unit fun. More than just a liquor store. Alberta's best. The one and only Sherbrooke Liquor.
spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com. Weekly NFL giveaways, drink specials, huge screen TVs. The hits keep coming at First Round, Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Watch NFL football at First Round, and you could win a trip to your favorite NFL city for a regular season game next season. Catch NFL action Thursday nights, all day Sunday, starting with the Pro Bowl brunch from 10:30 to 2. Then Monday night, it's bonus wings to 6 p.m. Burgers, beer, sports, downtown and Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCode.com. It's okay to not be okay.
6 seconds left.
I'm tired of waking up tired.
6 seconds left. 6 seconds left.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
From the first face-off to the final whistle, Sports 1440 is your home for hockey talk. With live coverage, expert analysis, and pre- and post-game shows, we bring you closer to the game. Tune in 24/7, only on Sports 1440, Edmonton's sports station.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you need it immediately with no overtime rates,
Call Legacy.
if you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
And what can I get for you this year, little fella?
I want a new Ford F-150 with the FX4 package. Adults need toys to play with on Christmas morning, too. And Nisku Ford has the best toys in town. If you decide to wrap one up, you can get rebates as high as $10,000 or choose interest rates as low as 0%.
This Christmas, get the toy you really want.
Add Nisku Ford to your holiday visits or make your wish list at niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
Winter in Alberta doesn't mess around.
And neither does Titan Supply.
For over 50 years, we've earned the trust of our customers across a variety of industries.
Because we lead with integrity,
honesty,
and respect.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brent from Titan Supply. When the weather hits hard,
we're fully stocked with rigging, lifting, and hauling gear that works as hard as you do.
Titan Supply.
Built.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Wolf GMC Buick. Everyone's a winner. Wish and win event right now. WolfGMCBuick.com. That was a gorgeous intro. I love the piano. Who is that?
But that was heavily sampled from Fergie's song "Glamorous."
Well, that was real good. That was a nice mood feel to it, right? You know,
Yeah, Harlow had some bangers.
pour a glass of something there. You know, that was good. I'd like to see a line of third line of Savoy, Nuge, Podkolzin. I know Leon likes playing with Pods, but I think that would be a good third line. Not sure who would replace Pods on Leon's line, though. Well, Alex Tuck. No, I'm teasing. That's from Greg. I think coaches like to run pairs. Back in the day, they ran lines, but they like to run pairs. And Podkolzin with Draisaitl and Hyman with McDavid seemed like the set play to begin whatever experiments they're doing. You'd like Roslovic to grab one of those jobs. No?
Yeah.
I heard somebody go, I was
Sorry,
wondering.
that was my bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see. I'm sorry. I thought you were objecting.
I just keep the mics on back here.
Okay.
So sometimes.
Oh, I thought he was objecting to my comment. So
No. You want Roslovic to grab that.
Yeah.
100%.
And then when Roslovic grabs it, then you've got one of Podkolzin or Nuge that can move around. Now, Donovan and I believe it should be Nuge moving down to third line center. And then you go from there. But we'll, look, they got to figure out the third line. They have to have 3 lines they can go with. The top 2 lines are top drawer. Nobody disagrees, right?
The teams. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. I'm talking a lot.
I was just going to, the team so clearly has 4 centers right down the middle with McDavid, Dry, Nuge, and Henrique. And then you just look at the line combos and it's like, oh, Roslovic is playing center. Or, oh, Trent Frederick's playing center.
And I watch it all the time. I loved Mac T as a coach. I really did. But holy Hannibals. They'd get a guy from wherever, and he would, they'd have photographs in the paper of Mac T at center ice working with Chad Kilger or God knows who, Toby Peterson. And Mac T was really good at coaching guys up. He was really good at it. But he saw everybody through the eyes of being a two-way center, and they're hugely valuable. They are. But I think there are some guys like Roslovic who you know who they are. Leave them alone. Put them on the wing. Let him score 25 goals. My God, that has value. Don't make him into something he's not, in my opinion. I like Mac T on the between period stuff. I think he does a really good job. He and Bob, I think they do a really nice job. I enjoy that. I enjoy that segment. Kapanen can play with Nuge and Savoy when he's back. Well, Jason Gregor's done a lot of good work on the Kapanen story, and he was so good in the playoffs last year. He really was. And this year he was starting to find his game and maybe establish himself as a trustworthy winger. And that's a big, big word, trustworthy. Lots of letters, vowels, consonants, everything. No hyphens, but everything else. No apostrophes, but really it's got it all aside from those things. And he seemed to be there. Then he got hurt. And then he got hurt again. So that might be I know you're going to get mad at me, but that might be a trade you make that you don't have to make a trade to get when he comes back. You're adding a guy that you didn't have. Could happen. First time watching, listening on YouTube. I'm having WKRP in Cincinnati flashbacks. Just need some Dr. Johnny Fever. That was such a great show. It's the reason I got into radio. The mayor, although insisting he was not intoxicated, could not explain his nudity. WKRP was a funny, funny show. So people are now texting us for like codes.
Yeah, obviously Play Alberta, big part of Jason show, big part of the station. So looking into what I think Gregor 50 is kind of the standing code. But if there is a new one, we'll look into that. We'll get it. And listen, I'll tell you this. Connor Halley is going to have that baby regardless at 2:00.
Yeah, but for sure. So stay tuned. We don't want to make people unhappy. Is O'Reilly still a player for Edmonton, or was he traded? Yeah, he was traded in the offseason by Stan Bowman. Stan Bowman, by the way, named after the Stanley Cup. And Stan Bowman traded him and acquired Isaac Howard. That was the trade, right? I think it was straight up. Yeah. And Isaac Howard is a guy who might get traded too. I mean, if the Oilers are going to go after like Tuck or some name like that, I don't know that a first-round pick is going to do it. And by the way, can we just spend a moment, ladies and germs, talking about the Buffalo Sabres? I keep saying that Tuck is going to be traded. I don't know, man. They're flying past a lot of teams right now.
They are, but do you actually think they're legit?
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, how many is it in a row? 9? That seems
9.
legit.
Yeah.
Like,
But do you not remember when they won 11 in a row to start the season? I want to say 4 years ago.
but I mean, it's been so long since they did Jack Doodley. I just want for Buffalo fans this to be real. They're like 1 point out of the playoffs, and they've got a game in hand. Please, baby Jesus, make it real.
I want it to be real too. Don't get me wrong. But Buffalo is one of those teams where I watch them and I say, I need to see it before I can truly believe it. I need to see that check mark beside their name and that playoff standing locked before I fully buy into the fact that that is a playoff team. They might not trade Tuck anymore. He might sign an extension.
Yeah.
But there's still other players available for Oilers fans to look at and say, that'd be a nice fit. Tuck's probably still my 1A choice, but there's still guys available who you could go after and say, yeah, that'd be a nice little player for us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you can't sign him, you got to trade him, right? Like you do.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I got a football question for you, Declan. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
The Iowa won here, right?
Yeah.
The Hawkeyes won?
Yeah, they did.
And so
4-loss team took down the mighty SEC.
So that's something Hayden Fry didn't do that Kirk Ferentz has done. And that's win 11 games in a season?
Yeah. And he's been a phenomenal coach at Iowa because Iowa is, I mean, not only does it not have kind of some of the money and the resources now that we're in the NIL era, like it had no real history to build itself off of. And he has just turned them into like a really, really tough, upstanding, gritty, hard place to play program. And it obviously they win the Relia Quest Bowl here. Like Iowa is I don't know what the NHL equivalent of Iowa would be. They're just so hard to play against. They're always so good. They're never going to win a national championship, but they are always just so consistent and they're easy to root for. And now, like Vandy was a team.
Islanders.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
No.
The Lou Lamoriello Islanders.
The only thing I would say is that like the Isle, they obviously have quite the history with the Stanley Cups of the 70s.
Oh, well, if you take it with the
80s.
4 in a row, they were a different team back then.
Yeah, because I'm saying like Iowa doesn't quite have that history. But my point being is like Vandy was a team, a 2-loss team. People were saying like, did they deserve to be in the college football playoff? And a 4-loss Big Ten team beats them in a bowl game on a New Year's Eve bowl game. Like it's just the SEC is now 2-6 in bowl games this year, and they haven't beaten a Power 4 team in a bowl game. Like this, I know this isn't. I'm not getting mad at you guys for this, but this narrative that the SEC is just this big, daunting, big brother craps on everyone needs to be dead and buried because it hasn't been that way for a couple of years. Sure, if you want to call it deep, whatever. But we're seeing them play other elite programs in bowl games, and we're seeing them get shellacked, and it's awesome.
The next game is the Nebraska up against Utah. Utah are called the Utes, right?
Yes.
Why? I don't understand the I don't understand. Why would you call yourself the Utes?
I don't know what
2 Utes were seen leaving Piggly Wiggly, you know?
If it was Australia, I'd understand.
Sure.
Yeah. I like the name because I like alliteration with my
And they
nicknames.
flash the U signal too, by the way. That's how you know it's.
That's a real Miami thing, but Utah does it as well.
No.
This is kind of an aside. This bowl game is really weird. Like Utah was 10-2. Their only losses were BYU and Texas Tech, and Nebraska was a 5-loss team whose quarterback is entering the transfer portal. So this bowl game, like theoretically, should be 38-0. It's a very weird matchup. I put the Michigan Texas game on instead.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, when does Notre Dame play?
Next year, August 31st.
Bunch of is what they are.
I think they had a home and home with Miami. So I think they got Miami again.
Taking our football and we are going home because we've been spoiled for 100 years and now we're mad.
Play Miami later in the season, actually.
Boy.
Maybe it was a home and home with A&M.
Cry harder, Notre Dame.
For a fan, you don't like them very much.
Well, I don't like this. You know, like,
yeah,
I miss Lou Holtz. He would have played.
He would have.
No.
Hey, how about that? You get to keep Freeman. Turn down.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah. It was good that he did that because the last jack-o'-lantern they had there was a vagabond, a charlatan.
Honestly, like I hate to say it, but like the Notre Dame coaching job is Brian Kelly, by the way. Anyway, having the Notre Dame job is so sick because you just get to win like 10 games every year and never lose your job.
And
you
you
make
also
$9 million a year.
And you also like everybody defends you no matter what happens. You can be craptastic, and people are like, they're not why not in the championship? You know, because it's Notre Dame.
The head football coach of Notre Dame is the epitome of the American dream.
You can do no wrong.
You get to have that job forever and just make a bunch of money.
Yeah. The two kids in the AHL are definitely forcing their way up. I wrote not long ago about bringing up that whole line. You know, Szymanski's a nice center, 6'2", 205. They've already seen Isaac Howard and Quinn Hudson. Bring them up. You know, the fourth line, play them 7 minutes for 3 games, see what they do, and then send them down. And sit the fourth line, because the fourth line deserves to sit. You know, they do. They won't, but I would love to see that. Good afternoon. Awesome one, Lowetide. My cousin Vinny. What a great show. It really was. It's a funny show. And Marissa Tomei.
Fox.
Kind of an all-timer.
Oh, you think you've seen Hostel? Okay. Chomskers, I've been saying that forever, but we don't know what. I mean, when you say that's like me, I tweet stuff out. Looks like Larry's got some trouble, and people are like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
I wonder if it was about the Notre Dame coaching position.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Just because that was the most recent.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because it would have been the timeline, right?
Shout out you for having that wherewithal, Chomskers. If that isn't, he was saying call up all 3 kids. So not.
Well, there you go. But even better because it was my idea that he loved.
Just when I think I got a college football brethren.
Nada. It's always about the hockey. You know, they did that in 2000. Can you name the 3 forwards the Oilers called up? Craig McTavish, rookie coach, and he breaks camp with 3 guys who were a line in 1999-2000 with the Hamilton Bulldogs. Can you name any of the players?
I'm going to say no.
You're yawning.
I was yawning. That's my bad. Off the top of my head, no.
Daniel Cleary, Brian Swanson, and Michelle, the Swiss Miss Reason.
Mm-hmm.
Called them all up.
I think I might have been able to get Dan Cleary if I actually thought about it.
Yeah. Oilers can't even win 3 in a row. It's a problem. Why do people keep bringing you in food and drink? Are we worried about your, ability to stay awake?
Well, it's a long day for me. It's the 12-hour day. And we ain't going home. We're staying at work. You know what? We've got a fantastic group of guys, and they support you.
Yeah, well, they do. They're very kind. Connor's been very nice bringing you various things.
Mm-hmm.
You're not drinking too much caffeine, though, are you?
Well, what I had earlier has no caffeine.
Oh, good. Okay.
This is very much caffeine.
Well, with your yawning, I think it's a good time.
It is,
start. Yeah.
Once we cut to break, this will be cracked open.
We got to take a break. Troy and Hemi, I'll try to get to your item in the next segment. On the way, it's Declan CAA. We're talking football, college football, and bowl games. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Mr. Rooter decorates a gingerbread house.
Wow. What did you do here, Mr. Rooter?
Well, we've got a Jube Jube toilet, complete with an icing-based wax seal. The main water line is licorice, red for hot, black for cold. You got your standard marshmallow hot water tank and a candy cane sewer line. And on the outside, candy corn hose pips. Disgusting, but they get the job done.
To have your Yule clogs fixed, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
When it snows and you have a Honda, let it blow, let it blow, let it blow. Ditch the driveway shovel because right now at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo, save up to $400 on Honda dual-stage snowblowers. Take whatever winter throws at you and throw it back with iconic Honda reliability. Available for a limited time only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert and always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Wish and Win event on right now. Everyone's a winner. Check it out. WolfGMCBuick.com. 141. We slide into declinations, brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more breaking news, breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth double E football coverage online, available anywhere on Earth or the space station, elksnation.ca. And now we turn over the microphone to the man, the myth, the legend, Declan Krueger.
Yeah, college football quarterfinals. They are here. I am going to be, I think what I'll probably be doing is just going through the quarterfinal games and kind of give my predictions based on those. The games we have right now, and the game we saw earlier today, Iowa beating Vandy, like I talked about, so hilarious. The team people were saying, oh, they should be in the college football playoff. And they go out there and get beat by a 4-loss Iowa team. So that's awesome. Nebraska, I just talked about how that was a mismatch against Utah. They're actually up 7-0 in that game. Michigan's up 10-3 on Texas. That's a really good game in the Citrus Bowl. And then Duke ASU 21-21. But like I said, college football quarterfinals, it starts tonight. Miami and Ohio State. The line for this one currently 9.5. Miami Lowetide, as you recall, that was the team who got in over Notre Dame kind of at the 11th hour. They had beaten Notre Dame in week 1 of the season, but they're like Notre Dame had been ranked ahead of them all season, and then at the last minute the committee changed it
and made the right call.
Yeah, it was definitely the right call between those two teams. Like we had a data point. The data point was those two teams playing and Miami winning. Like
and was it by BYU got screwed?
I would have had BYU in. Yeah. The funny thing is, I would have had BYU in actually over Miami and Notre Dame, but I would have had Miami in over Notre Dame. They made the right choice. Miami goes on to beat Texas A&M, who fraud checked. I mean, quite frankly, they played the bottom half of the SEC. 4 out of 8 teams they played in the SEC fired their coach or something like that. They didn't play a single team in the top half of the SEC outside of Texas, who they lost to, was their lone loss. And Miami held them to 3 points at home. This Ohio State team, though, like this is we're into the premier teams in the country. Like you cannot go in there with anything less than 100%, and even that might not be good enough. Like Indiana could match them in terms of physicality, and that's why they won that game. I don't know if Miami's going to be able to do that, and quite frankly, I don't think they have the talent edge to make up for it. So this game, the line is 9.5. I like Ohio State to win at -9.5. I also think Ohio State is going to be very hungry. Like this is a team who they haven't won a Big Ten championship in 5 years. They were supposed to win it this year going away. They were the number 1 team without no one had any doubts about it. And they lose to Indiana of all teams. So Ohio State should come in motivated. I like them at -9.5 in this one. Oregon, Texas Tech, the first game tomorrow. That's my team. As you guys know, I'm an Oregon fan. The line for this one, -2.5. Oregon is a team, Texas Tech is a team that I think they're very good. Their only loss this year was on the road to a playoff team last year with their backup quarterback. They ran through the Big 12. They boat raced BYU twice. You like how I did that? That's how bad it was.
It was a Kramer.
Boat raced them twice, and I thought BYU was a good team. is a good team, I should say. But this game might be one of the ones where it's like, wait, are we going to find, is this going to be what we think it is, point A, where Texas Tech is untested and Oregon is so much more talented? Or is it going to be point B? The eye test for Texas Tech is in fact true, and they go and win this game like 45-20 because they actually are just that good. That's what we're going to find out. I like Oregon in the game at 2.5. Obviously, I think I got them when I bet them officially. It was -1.5. They're the team I cheer for. I'm going to back them in this game, but I've been very, very I've been higher on Texas Tech than most people this year. So I like Oregon, but it's going to be a fun game. Bama and Indiana. How about this, Lowetide and Donovan? Indiana -7 point favorites against Alabama.
No.
If you told someone that 2 years, they would have taken away your driver's license.
Yeah, you would be in prison.
They would have said you can't drive a car because you're talking too crazy. We can't trust you behind the wheel. But that's where we are. That's where we stand today. Now, Indiana, they lost a really, really key piece. Their defensive tackle, Staley. He got hurt celebrating after the Big Ten championship game.
Like you do.
He was celebrating at the end of at the end zone with fans, and he came down and he busted his knee. So he's going to be out for this one. He's a really, really good player. This is the thing, because Indiana, they will beat you up, and I think they have the ability to beat up Alabama. Alabama can't run the ball. Alabama against Oklahoma ran the ball 25 times for like 28 yards, and that was a good rushing performance for them. But this is the thing. This is such Alabama is such the school that wins this game, and that terrifies me.
They just do it because it's Alabama.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
They're the Crimson Tide. Yeah.
I want Indiana to win this game so badly. I am hoping so much for Indiana. I think they're the better roster through and through. Their quarterback won the Heisman this year. But this is just such the game when we think Alabama's dead, they win. I can't have that be the case.
They have history on their side.
I bet the under, and I bet Indiana at -7. I think you guys should take Indiana at -7 as well, but maybe place a sneaky Alabama money line bet behind the scenes on like a backdoor sports book, just because this is the game they always win.
So
and then,
bet it so that either they win or they lose. You square up, right?
Yeah.
Like you hedge.
Yeah. And then Georgia Ole Miss rematch. Ole Miss was leading by 15 points in the fourth quarter the first time they played. It was their only loss all season. The line for this one is Georgia -6. Ole Miss obviously doesn't have their coach. I don't know, man. I have no idea who I like in this game. I think I like Georgia to win. 6 points seems generous. I think through and through, Georgia's a better roster, and they have more ways to win the game. But I don't know. The first game was close. Ole Miss doesn't have a coach, I guess. I probably like Georgia. I probably like Ole Miss at +6. And I like the over. And that's it.
All right. And we're back on Friday, right?
Yes.
So we'll maybe could we reset it Friday too? Because I just think this is, if you're a Bowl fan, then this is like, I don't watch as much football as these cats do during the year, but I do like watching the bowl games.
I'm so excited for tomorrow.
Do you watch the parade?
No.
No?
No, not really.
You don't watch the Rose Bowl parade?
No.
Oh.
I like the games. The Rose Bowl, by the way, that's the Alabama-Indiana game.
Yeah.
It's such a just historic venue, and it's such a spectacle of an event, and it's so much fun.
I always watch the Rose Bowl because I'm a broadcaster, and the hardest thing to broadcast is the Rose Bowl, and whoever hosts it has the hardest job because you got to make something interesting that really is not, and they do a brilliant job. All right. Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. I want to answer this question because it's come up quite a bit. Troy and a Hemi. Al, what's it like being the McDavid catalyst this month? He's been on a tear since you suggested him regressing. Troy and a Hemi. Well, I think, number one, it makes people should send me flowers because I didn't do anything. Having said that, I mean, I'm thrilled that he's doing this because watching Connor McDavid live is the most entertaining thing in any sport. It's like going to see the Stones or Genesis or Tina Turner. For me, it's a highlight of my sporting life to watch Connor McDavid live. It is wild to watch him as a skill player. That said, what I was talking about was 5-on-5. And even now with his incredible play over the last while, including all of December, 2 years ago at 5-on-5, he had a 3.5 points per 60. Last year, it was 2.65. This year, with all of his great play, it's 2.4. 2 years ago, his goal share at 5-on-5 was 61%. Last year, it was 55. This year, with all of his great play, it's 51. And I'm not saying Connor McDavid isn't an all-time great. He may be the best player who ever lived. But I am saying that a lot of research says peak peak player performance for NHL players, even the great ones, is 25 to 27. So if you just do the math of Connor McDavid and you say, okay, well, was he playing well 25 to 27? Well, he sure as hell was. But now, like in January, the 13th of January, he'll turn 29. So the regression, the fading that happens to all human beings is probably going to impact Connor McDavid less than anybody we ever talk about. But it's also true that will occur. The question is it now or is it later? In December, it sure as hell isn't now. In in October and November, it sure did look like it. So that was my reason for it. The numbers right now for the year suggest that he's still regressing a little bit, like he's still going down a little bit. If he continues to play like this, he's going to obliterate seasons. His performance is out of sight on the power play. I like that they've taken him off the penalty kill because I think his fewer minutes has really benefited him in a big way in all areas, power play and 5-on-5. But I suspect that at the end of the year, he'll have a grand number. I don't know what it'll be, but I suspect it'll be a really big deal. So I hope that answers the question. And I'm delighted he's doing it. Who's playing in the Bourbon Bowl? Man, I hope I am. Do you like bourbon?
I don't know if I've ever actually had it.
Oh, really?
No, I don't think I have.
Well, if you ever get I Can Have a Drink with Lowetide t-shirt, I'll buy you a bourbon.
I think I've had pretty much everything else.
Scotch?
Yeah.
Rye?
Yep.
Vodka?
Of course.
Southern Comfort?
No.
Tequila?
Oh, yeah.
Tequila's unbeaten. Tequila is designed to make you drink too much tequila, fall asleep, and wake up like you've swallowed and feel like you've swallowed a pound of sand. Like it's just like the wildest drink ever. Undefeated. If you tell me I drank a bunch of tequila and then I felt great the next day and no ill effects, I will call you, well, I won't call you the name, but I will think to myself that you may be embellishing. I started to regress at 18 when I found 75-cent draft beer at Azzy's Bar from Not Fred. I don't think it's affected my over 50 hockey league now. My true athletic nature has caused me to overcome my younger years. I think you do. Oh, Ezzy's. Sorry. I didn't understand that it was Esmeralda's. Esmeralda's, baby. I was there a few hundred times. And they had more than one Esmeralda's, depending upon the town you were in. Alan, you're taking away those first 2 months, right? Because if you take away those first 2 months, just December is out of this world. No, of course it is. But Bob, we're talking about the whole year. You can't, you can separate it. You can say, look what he's done. But overall, it's still not where he was 2 years ago or last year. That's my point at 5-on-5. And that's how you judge a player. Now, Sidney Crosby went into his 30s and he had the same year every year almost. He really did not regress quickly at all. And that may well be Connor McDavid because I'll tell you, he seems to be speeding up. His foot speed is going the other way. It's, to bring it back to WKRP, it's like the episode where Dr. Johnny Fever is drinking to show people how much you're inhibited. As time goes by, your reaction time becomes less impressive. And Dr. Johnny Fever became quicker as he drank more. Did you ever see that episode?
Can't say I have.
Well, it was really funny. Venus Flytrap did the typical thing where his reaction time was terrible as he drank more alcohol. But Dr. Johnny Fever got quicker. And the police officer who was in the room got really pissed off. It was a very funny episode. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you. We have Jason Gregor's show just around the corner. We also have the pre and post game tonight as the Boston Bruins are in town. One of my favorite games of the year, Boston at Edmonton. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're off tomorrow. Please enjoy your long weekend if you're taking one, and we'll talk to you on Friday.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by meals.loca.ca. Dinner just got a whole lot easier and a whole lot tastier. Head to meals.loca.ca, select a number of chef-crafted meals you'd like to eat, and then get them delivered to your door every Sunday for as low as $10 per serving. Heat, eat, and repeat. Meals.loca.ca. Edmonton Oilers in action tonight. 7:30 puck shot versus the Bruins. Mangiapane will be in the top six, and it will be Connor Ingram in the starters. Net pregame coverage getting going at 6 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. Elsewhere in the NHL right now, Preds lead the Golden Knights 3-2 at the end of the first period. Lightning and Ducks set to get going in just about 5 minutes time here, as are the Wild and Sharks. And earlier today it was the Caps over the Rangers 6-3. In the World Junior Hockey Championship, 2-1 final with Switzerland over Slovakia, and Latvia leads Czechia 1-0 in the first period. At 4, we'll see Sweden and the United States, and at 6:30 in Group B action, we'll see Canada and Finland. College football bowl season, one final from earlier was Iowa over Vanderbilt 34-27 in the Relax Quest Bowl. Duke currently leading Arizona State 28-24 in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Michigan and Texas tied 10-10 in the Citrus Bowl, and Nebraska and Utah tied 7-7 in the Las Vegas Bowl. Miami and Ohio State will play tonight at 5:30 in the Cotton Bowl as part of the college football playoff. 3 scores in the NBA. Hawks lead the T-Wolves 64-42. Magic trail the Pacers 48-41. And the Cavs lead the Suns 28-16. Elsewhere in the sporting world, the Olympic roster for Team Canada has been named Connor McDavid, the lone Oiler, to make the team. I'm Declan Krueger. Up next is the Jason Greger Show with guest host Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJ.